Johnson, he was the 17th president. North Carolina is where he was a resident. Born in 1808 in the city of Raleigh. Parents Jacob and Mary, aka Polly. Jacob, his dad, died when he was 3. His mom remarried to turn daughtery. Grew up with William, Andrew's brother. Only had one, there was no other. He never attended a day of school in his life. Taught himself to read from the help of his wife. Married at 16, 5 sons and daughters. Martha married Charles Frank Jr. and Robert.
1828, at the age of 20, served as alderman of Greenville, Tennessee. 2 years later, at the age of 22, elected mayor. This role he did pursue. For 8 years, at the age of 28, representative in the House of the state. Elected to the state senate, kept moving up high to the House of Reps, is where he did fly. With the Tennessee governor, then went back to Congress as U.S. Senator. Then Lincoln chosen in 1864, military governor for the Civil War. Andrew Johnson, Lincoln's running new, made him VP in his term number 2. 2 years later, he didn't get to run. His job in politics was sure to be done. Elected in the Senate in 75, but in that summer, he did die.
Lincoln was shot. Johnson took his place. A presidential election he never did face. But before he failed the Democratic nomination because Lincoln didn't face Robert Lee's Confederation. Balance of ticket, Johnson was Democrat. He was not from the Union. That might be problematic. Destroy the Confederacy, that's what Republicans believe, demanding surrender, and that slaves should all be free. Johnson was determined to keep the Union together, but then he changed his mind and thought for the better. First, he didn't want to abolish all slavery, and changed his mind that freedom worked efficiently. In the election of 1864, Lincoln won the popular vote with only 10% more. The electoral votes, the deal was done, 2-12 for Lincoln and McClellan 21. Even though none of the Confederates voted at all, Lincoln won the vote by a massive landfall. His state spanned the nation, the number 22. McClellan looked pathetic, he only won a few.
Now here's the life of Johnson's presidency. He was a member of the Democratic Party. 65-8 sat in the presidency. A second term he never did repeat. Benjamin Wayne was the president pro tem. He was the first in line behind Andrew Johnson. As for the vice president, he hadn't any. The members of the cabinet, they were to be aplenty. William C. Ward was born in 1865. As Secretary of State, he really did strive. Good friendship with Lincoln he did obtain, for which he used in the North for his campaign. Also in the cabinet, the presidential crew was a man named McCulloch, first name Hugh. His treasury as secretary came at the same time. Success in banking was rather sublime. In that same year came Edwin M. Stanton, Secretary of War, replaced Simon Cameron. Seaward to Lincoln, he did suggest if he was the man for the job, that would be best. Powers to the press, Constitution did give. One of those powers was legislative. The powers he would veto was something he did use. No signing of the bill and just refuse. 60-60 vetoed the Civil Rights Act. Returned to Congress, he sent it back. He had more powers, some judicial, granting a pardon, making it official. It's the way the press legally forgive. Set someone free without a debt they now live. Reconstruction, he did declare, pardon to those who know allegiance they swear. One more power, which he did take, the power of treaties, and that he didn't take. The treaty with Russia, he never did make. The Alaska wouldn't be the 49th state.
Significant bills on his desk of land, things that people and Congress demand. The private life and the policies, such as FC, those were the contents of Amendment 14. Outcome of that, it was not ratified. The South didn't like it, only Tennessee complied. So in 67 passed the Act of Reconstruction, split the South into districts, and made the Constitution. In 66 was proposed the Civil Rights Act. Blacks, now citizens, discrimination was whacked. Johnson vetoed, but Congress overrode. 14 later passed, yet discrimination still showed.
Several issues Johnson had to work with: an economy, the world, and some domestic. 13 and 15 ratified amendments. The first one in slavery confirmed its amendments. Amendment 15 gave black voting rights, but not for women. They would later fight. Some other events that happened before: U.S. bought Alaska for $7 million. This year's folly thought it was a joke, just a giant useless iceberg. It was just dope. There were problems down south in the French and Mexico. Johnson's response was to enforce the doctrine of Monroe. This was a time of much tribulation. After the Civil War, there was massive inflation. The South had suffered, life was pretty bad, but the North grew with factories, life was bad.
Johnson was average as presidents go. Since it was Reconstruction, it made it difficult. Did okay for the country, though success seemed slim. Had a lot of people working against him. A strict constructionalist is how he was seen because he got passed amendments 13 through 15. It's the thing that he was most remembered for. No prior president's ever been accused of firing a federal employee without congressional consent. He was impeached, almost lost his job as president.